everyone, welcome to Kelly's Creative Dream Studios. Today we are working on a writing board. Now I jumped in on this challenge. It's a brief one from Maud Heimstra's channel. I initially got the idea from 49 Dragonflies and she got it from Maud's channel, and I will link both of those down below. But the idea is, when you have a junk journal, more often than not, and I'm going to use a couple of pages here, you've got all kinds of bumpies here. You might have a tuck-in spot with a tag, or you've got a heart embellishment. And so when you want to write, you've got these little bumpy things interfering with. So what we do is we put a writing board on top of those bumpies, so when we write, we've got a smooth surface to write on. Now, I want to make this one a little bit thick, but before I get into what we're using and why, my current journal with Dear Julie's Just 15 Junk Journal Challenge for this month is to do a gardening journal, something that I can keep notes in about when I plant seeds, how things come up, include pictures of the garden, that kind of thing. And I will do one, I want to do one every year. So I started with this Sunset Western Garden book, and I just popped the signatures out of it. And this is going to be my cover. So I had to determine the cover so I knew what size to make the writing board to go inside. Now there are specific things we need to use. We are to include text or numbers, a pattern of some type, splatters, thread or fabric, postage stamps, and a bonus is to use something from the paper recycling bin. So we know what size we need to make the writing board, so I'm going to set that aside. Text or numbers, I have multiple ideas. I have these from Tim Holtz. This is from the salvage stickers. So these are options. I could use words from Small Talk, clipping stickers. I loved By the Light of the Moon, that one, you know, for planting. Chit Chat on verbiages. And so I've got those as options. A pattern. Now a pattern, when I think pattern, I think of something that repeats. So I have either the repetitive blockings in this paper. I also have the repetitive floral and leaf design on the edge of this note paper. So those are going to be my patterns. For splatters, and I got a really neat technique from 49 Dragonflies, and I want to use it in this video because I've never seen it before, so we're just going to spread the word. I just don't know which of these colors I'm going to use. I would like to have had his honey, but I don't have honey. But I've got Twisted Citron, Vintage Photo, and Broken China. I thought this is a nice sky blue kind of thing. So we will test these. And I've got postage stamps that I pulled out. Not sure where I got this one, but these two were from my stash. Got this bird and flowers, perfect for a garden journal. Oh, and thread or fabric. I've got a couple of fabric options. I liked this strip of earthy tone fabric, but then I also have this, and I'm using parts of this in my junk journal, so that would kind of bring everything together, but I think I'll probably use some of this too. So we'll see how this comes together, but this very well may be part of what I use. Okay, something from the recycling bin. I've been buying the two-step coffees. And this is a McCafe Caramel Macchiato that I got at Dollar General, and of which they have now discontinued them, of course, 2 weeks after I found them and decided I liked them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this to the edge of my writing board, and it will become my pen pocket on the writing board. So that's my plan from the recycling bin. So the first thing I've done is lost my chipboard. There it is. I saw one of the things on 49 Dragonflies I had not seen before, and that was a tab on the writing board so that you can find it in amongst the pages of your journal. I thought that was pretty cool. So I pulled out my die set that has since been buried or vanished over here. I have the dies from Stampin' Up! That you can die cut the tab out of. But this board was too big to run through my Vagabond. So what I decided to do, my writing board has to be 10 3/4 by 8 1/4, and that gives me enough lip room for my tab. So I traced around the die, and that's going to drive me nuts as to where that went because I know it was right here on the desk. So I'm going to trace around the one that I cut out just like I did around the die. And I'm using kitchen shears. I could use an X-Acto knife, but kitchen shears will go through this pretty easily. And these are just kitchen shears from the Dollar Tree, and I use them for cutting thicker product like chipboard. Okay, that takes care of that. And then I can sandwich these together and I'll have a good surface, a good solid surface for writing on. One length of the depth of the chipboard just wasn't thick enough for my liking. So I'm going to go ahead and let's spread a little tacky love on this, shall we? Spread a little tacky love on this. And I want to make sure that I get it coming out of the bottle first of all. And this is like the Tombow glue that I use. It's thin, but it'll grab good. So you don't need to go completely up to the edge. When you push these together, they're gonna squish and seal your edges. The other thing is if you don't think it went to the edges enough, you can always outline or edge your writing board with a paper or a fabric border and go over your edges, and that will help seal your edges. Now I'm just spreading this out a little bit. I'm not getting really precise. I just don't want any squiggly bumps in there to create issues for me. And I make sure I'm grabbing this on the right side. Oops, sorry. And we're going to squish that together. Now you'll notice I did have my dimensions written on here. That's perfectly fine because now this tacky is going to take a little bit to dry, but that's okay. It'll give us enough there to play with. Let me grab a baby wipe really fast. I have totally cleaned the office, moved most everything back in. But with the exception of my tool cart, I have set everything over in the stamping corner where I normally work. I just don't have that put back together yet because I still need to inventory and catalog my stamp sets. So I've not put that back together. Now, I've got this together. Now this I'm going to cover with a paper. And I kept looking. I went through my Country Gardens magazines, and I really like this on there, but It really needs, it doesn't quite cover that. So, while I was out shopping a couple of days ago, I went to Office Depot to pick up ink to print out more digital kits. And I found the 500 count reams of this 11 by 17 paper back on the clearance. Now this is where you want to get in the habit of making friends with your store owners and managers, because she gave me a really good deal on this paper. It was marked down from $26 a ream down to, I think, $16 a ream, and I got it for $3 a ream. So I like those kind of deals, and I'm going to use my paper trimmer to trim this off really fast. Whoops, and that's probably one of the papers I wanted to use. It just hit the floor. I've seamed that where I want it to go, and I'm just going to take that sliver off, just like that. Now I left this a little wider on the back because I can bring this over and it'll help seal that back edge. So I want to do this here, and this is going to be another one of those. I could use a glue stick for this. I'm not a fan of the glue stick, people. For me, glue stick over time has a tendency to release based on humidity and weather conditions and storage conditions, and I don't want something that I have put hours of work into coming apart. So I don't use the glue stick unless it's something I'm going to go back over with a... Okay, now y'all saw where I laid that. There it is. If I'm going to go back over it and seal it with Mod Podge or something to that effect, I don't mind using a glue stick. Because for me, the glue stick is a temporary hold while I do other stuff to it, and it's not meant to hold it in place for eternity. But that's me. Now I'm going to line this up to where it comes over top of that tab. Squishy that down really good. And this is where a clean plastic credit card or reward card or hotel key come in handy, because you can squeegee that down. And then this one, while I'm working on this other side, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one around. In fact, let's trim this off first, off of here, because it's not enough to wrap bottom and top. And that's fine. I may wind up doing something else with the bottom and top edges later. But what this will do is it'll bring that green around to the back side where we're going to be collaging. I'm going to run that glue right up along that edge. So when I wrap this, it will squish into that seam. Pick that up, curl that around, and before I wrap it, I'm going to crease it up against there good, and then bring it over and let it do its thing on this side. And that gives me a little bit of color on there. Now, I will do the same on this side, but before I do, I want to go ahead and cut out so that color covers my tab. Just like that. Oops. And this one doesn't want to stay either, so we're going to give it a fake spot there. And take and notch that down a little bit and do the same thing with that glue on this side. I just want to be able to wrap it around, and I want it to seam up against there good. Have you noticed how much I love to squiggle glue? Now we'll just wrap that over, press it into place. And if it wants to buckle there a little bit, that's fine, because we're going to wrap that around anyway. Now, this is going to be the front of my writing board. And I'll put something up here in the corner over the wording. But for now, I also liked this one. I really like this one. I like this one. I think we're going to save that Heartbeat of the Garden for the actual journal. And I'm going to trim this off just a little bit. And then I can put something up here over that wording, and that'll be fine. Just like that. That's going to be the front of my board. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and lay it on here. Now, my thought is, I thought about going ahead and using the glue stick and then Mod Podging over the front of this. And I probably could have, and that will protect this picture over time, and I still may do that. So, but I wanted to get this down. And I want to make sure that it's going to adhere good and dry fast. So we're just going to run this through. That's okay if we get glue off the edge, because we're going to cover that up anyway. Just like this. Isn't that pretty? And we want to work our bubbles out, so we're going to use that rewards card and work those out. Just kind of pull it out. And it's okay if I've got a few wrinkles in there. I'm okay with the wrinkles. I was listening to Joe Beth Sexton this morning, and she kept, if something didn't come out just quite right, she would remind us that it was a junk journal. Doesn't have to be perfect. And see the way that wants to tear up on there. Trying to figure out the best way to come at this and get that angle on there. But it wants to come off. I may wait till that's dry and then come back on it with an X-Acto knife. But this is the side that we need to do other stuff on. So let's start with vegetables by seasons. I think this is the background I wanted to use for this page. And I want to trim this edge off. If I was wanting it to blend in with a background, I would probably leave that torn edge. And these pages are from, let's do plants that attract birds, is from the book that I got this, that I'm using for my book. That needs just a scant, like 1/16 of an inch or so off. So it's not hanging over the edge to catch and tear. There we go. I can live with that, because let's ink this up. Get some of my other stuff out of the way here. I finally got stuff into my tool cart, so I can use my tool cart. Let's use a soft suede, because it'll kind of blend it into that background. And I'm just gonna, let's see, where's my chocolate chip espresso. This one will work. Edge that up a little bit. I used the spots from Stampin' Up. I had those for years. And whenever I buy an ink color from Stampin' Up, I always get the ink refill. So I don't have to worry about my inks drying up on me for quite some time. You know, those re-inkers, they last for quite a while. It doesn't take a lot to do this, and it doesn't take a lot of ink to refill your ink pad either. I may have to go back and re-ink that soft suede now that I check it out. Of course that says soft suede and one says crumb cake. Let's move to close to cocoa, and I have a dauber for that. Oh yeah, we like this better. Close to cocoa. Not a big fan of the crumb cake. I got it because I thought it was going to be closer to the creamy caramel that they used to have, which was my absolute favorite ink to use vintage on. And it wasn't. It was more like a craft brown paper. That's okay, it still does its job. Okay, now we've got that on there. And that'll blend in with that background a little bit, and we can fix that. When it comes time to do stuff with this, we're going to be able to fix this okay. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to use my mono this time. It comes out faster. And I can swirl it. Let's get one that's not just about empty. Let's start there. There we go. I wanted to use my Tim Holtz mat up here, but it glares. The light glares on it so bad. I went back to my laminate board. And I realize we get shadows on here right now. The shadows will disappear for the most part once I move back over to my filming table in the stamping corner. Get my glue off my fingers. Keep a baby wipe handy. If you don't want things transferring or you don't want them to be, keep a baby wipe or a damp washcloth on hand. And you'll be so much happier with your work in the end. Okay, that takes care of that. Okay, texture numbers, a pattern. And I like the idea. See, this is pretty starch white. So, I have a plan. Let's take this. That's pretty heavy, but that's okay. I'm going to take my credit card and I'm going to swipe through that. And I've got a second one of those that I can swipe through. Get my baby wipe back here. Okay. The only problem was when I did that, I lost a lot of my pattern. But I like the effect. So let's see if we can pick up some of that color. Just wanted to tone that white down a little bit, not quite so starch. That came out a lot darker than I wanted it to be. I'm not liking that either. I think I actually like this better. Okay, that distress stain is awfully dark. Or it could just be me. There. If at first you don't succeed, redo it. See, and I like that down there. I like that. Pattern is subtle, but I like it. But we can keep the pattern aspect by keeping this. There's also a numeric pattern there. Let's make this a little narrower. I'm going to cut this down to 1 inch wide. Okay, splatter. Now here was a splatter. We're not going to do everything in the order on the list. I'm just going to move around. But here was something that I got from Dragonflies that I thought was really cool. She's never seen Tim Holtz do this, and now you cannot hardly find the distress paints with the daubers. So she just went, I need to activate mine first. But her point was you need to go really hard. Now hers splattered more than mine is. I really liked her splatter. Much better than I do mine. Let's see if I get... Okay. Not liking that at all. Let's get that out of the way. When she hit really hard, the paint did splatter, and I really liked that. So, we will come back with a paintbrush. I was hoping I had one on here. This one will work, because I still want to do the splatter. Splatters and litter. That gets a splatter, but it also does this. I think I like that. I can live with that. See, you never know till you try stuff. That's the trick. Okay. So that's going to go there, that's going to go there, and I'm trying not to make this too regimented. I need a focal point, and I think that's going to be my fabric on here. And this is one of the reasons I chose that blue. Since we've got plants that attract birds, let's go with the birdhouse. Doesn't that seem appropriate? Oh, I thought so. And you can bet, since I've seen her do that technique, I'm going to keep playing with those distress paints until I get it. Now, I am not going to take the fuzzies off of here. I like the fuzzies right there, where they're at. Let's take another bird there. I don't think I'm going to use that one. Text or numbers. We've got text on our background, but I also have this from the junk mail. Almost grabbed the wrong scissors. That wouldn't have been good. That wouldn't have been good. I want the garden gate, and I want to cut this out this way. And get rid of that piece. And I don't need the free book. So let's fussy cut around the letters a little bit. And then I like that flower there, so we're going to leave it. Okay, there's that. We got our pages going everywhere here thanks to my sleeve. I like that. Put that bird up there. Okay, let's see where we're at. Texture numbers, but I still want to, I'm going to go with this text, I think. The pattern, this it didn't really work out. Splatter. I think I'm going to create some blue across there. That's as close to splatter as I'm going to get. Okay. Fabric, postage stamps, and something from the recycling bin or junk mail. We also still need something up in this corner to cover that. What else have we got? Got something in our rub-ons maybe that might work. But I pulled out another pattern one too. This one, the bird. Let's do a bird. Oh, just saw one I really liked. I got these. These are from Crafter Square at Dollar Tree. Some Dollar Trees are getting some of these in, some are not. If you don't have them in your Dollar Tree, don't panic. They may be coming. I want to use this flower. I think it'll cover that. Nope, not quite. But let's do the butterfly. The butterfly will cover it. One of the things I do have in my garden is a butterfly garden. And I have 2 butterfly houses, so I'm hoping to attract more. I get a lot of swallowtails. I'm getting a lot of swallowtails. Just not sure how it's going to transfer to that. Well, it's going to transfer to that. Well, let's find out. Let's move our components. We know roughly where stuff is going to go. Peel our piece off of here and lay it down. And then we're going to come back with our stick. This is actually a clay knife. But it works really well because it's got this edge to transfer our rub on. You can see where it's starting to lift. Pick up the edge here and see. Nope, not down on there yet. Sometimes you have to come back from different angles. This pick tool is also from Dollar Tree. And there's our butterfly. And it has score tool on the end of it as well, so either one is helpful. Okay, we like that. The other thing I was looking at is this is going to be laying in our journal. Do want to come back and trim that rub-on off. Okay. Oh, should have used my sticky scissors. Didn't think about those. I'm not used to having the non-stick scissors. But if I want to attach this here to hold my pen, if I attach it here, I'm sorry, I keep hitting the camera, don't I? If I attach it here first, and I don't know if this is going to attach or not. Let's... Score tape, I think, is probably going to be my best bet on that one. So I will come back with my score tape or my tearing tape, which I should have some here in my glue card. I thought I did. I'm sorry about that. I am so organized that now I can't find some things that I need when I need them. So I'm going to use the red line tape, the industrial stuff here, and I want this side against the book. So let's, and if nothing else, it will hold it for now till I can come back with my deeper stapler. And I may still go ahead and secure it on there with the staples anyway. Take and squishy that down good, burnish it into place. And I think I'm going to do 2 strips. I want it over onto that picture pretty good. I know this was supposed to be a Mixed Media Monday journal or video, and technically it is because it's Monday afternoon when I'm recording this, but you will see it on Tuesday morning. Yesterday was just one of those days where I don't want to do anything. I'm on the go constantly around here doing stuff, and very seldom do I get a day where I just don't want to play. I want to sit and watch TV, nap in my chair with my cats. That's going to hold pretty well. Okay, so now that we have that in place, we have that in place, I'm going to come back and we're going to get our focal point in. Now this one I need to use the craft or the fabric glue on. And the glue that I like to use is a craft glue, and it's really thick, and I apply it with a brush. It comes in a big bottle, and I find it at Hobby Lobby, and I will try to link it down below. It is the absolute best fabric glue I have found because it grabs almost instantly, but it's thick, almost like a really thick Elmer's. And I can just paint it on. I could use my finger, whoops. That is my sister beeping me on Trillian. I'd have sworn I turned my volume off. I am sorry. And we're going to place that little bluebird right down there. Let me shut her off really quick. I brought the bar up to turn the volume off, and then I forgot. Okay. Now I do have that down there, and that will dry. And then I will stick this in water and wash it out really good, and it will come off just like that. You know, I still like this brown, even though it came out much darker than I wanted it to. I still like it. It's got that dirt, earth feel to it. So we're going to go ahead and glue this down. And remember with this mono, you don't have to go clean up to the edge. So you don't have to worry about going off your paper. It will take care of it for you. I think I want the hole going this way on this. And this one, yeah. So even though it doesn't turn out quite like you envisioned, doesn't mean you have to trash it. Just keep going. You might get something you really like. Now we're going to put our repetitive pattern over here. Oops. Oops. That's okay. We'll just pick that up and we'll stick it on our postage stamp. Every garden needs some kind of graph paper. And I need my baby wipe. If I can find a spot that's not brown. Pick that up. Stick it on the front of our bird. Or every time I say bird, my husband reminds me of Bambi, where the flower is teaching, or Thumper is teaching Bambi how to say bird. Bird. What can I say? We have grandgirls, and when Adrian was very little, 3, 4, we watched Bambi a lot. She got to choose bedtime movie. And just about every night it was Bambi. And we're going to stick that one right there. That's our junk mail. Sitting here wondering why my sister's not beeping me anymore, and then it just dawned on me I have the volume turned off. So even though we left that fringe on there, then we wound up covering it up. Go figure. And I may have to come back. I may even come back and seal this side as well with the Mod Podge. But is there anything we're missing? We have text or numbers. We have a pattern. We did manage to get some more brown on there from off of our napkin. The splatter, we got the blue fabric, postage stamps, and the something from the recycling bin would be either this as well as our pen holder. So we are good to go. And I may go back and this was the first pen I could get my hands on to put in here. I may come back and put in an erasable pen just because I know me. And let's put something there. What do you say? What shall we put there? Let's do get this little bird here, and it has to be, of course it has to be the one in the middle of the page to fit this spot. Go figure. Now the trick with rub-ons is if you can cut them out a little bit more delicately, you'll actually be happier with your image than just having all that clear behind you. So I'm going to get in around this twig just a little bit. find my little piece here so I can pop the paper off. Really having fighting doing this with my eyes today, let me tell you. Yeah, these are rub-ons. There we go. I knew there was paper in there somewhere. And let's set that bird. Of course I've got him going the wrong direction. There we go. Let's do that. Squeegee him into place. I will say that these rub-ons from Dollar Tree work really, really well. Some rub-ons don't transfer as well as others, and that's one of the things I was concerned about with these inexpensive ones from Dollar Tree. But I gotta tell you, the quality that I'm finding with some of the stuff from Dollar Tree is amazing. Now it's acting more like a sticker and I can't get it up. There we go. And usually if your paper's not releasing, that's a good inclination that you don't have your rub-in down all the way. There we go. And there is our writing board for the writing challenge with Maud Heimstra. And I've got Garden Cottage on the front. I still need to go through and cover that up with something. Any ideas what we should do with that since we've been looking at it? That one has possibilities. The roses I don't think are big enough. Chat stickers I know aren't big enough. These just really don't trip my trigger any. Oh, there would have been pattern. It just didn't fit the theme of my book. Language lessons, perfect attendance, a map, architecture, big honkin' moth. No, I don't think so. Okay, nothing on there thrills me. I do want to come back and add By the Light of the Moon to that one, I think. Where'd our other one go? I really like this, but it really doesn't fit. We'll come back and cover that one up with something later. Right now it just doesn't fit. And I don't think the roses are going to cover it up enough. Oh no, wait a minute here. Now you can't really have something sticking up there in the sky, can you, that really doesn't belong. Oh, now here's a thought. Here is a thought. I like this. So let's take this off of here. And I know I'm out of camera, but I've got to reach to cut here. It says it says my garden. Now I could take the butterfly off of there. And that would fit right up there without any problem. Would fit perfectly. So let's go back and I'm going to cover in that square with this fabric craft glue. This glue is supposed to be good for everything. I have found it perfect for fabric, in which case if it's going to glue fabric, it's probably going to grip a lot of things. As I said, I will link it down below. I'm also going to link Julie's video for the Just 15 June Junk Journal Challenge, because there are still 8 days. That means you have plenty of time to play. I mean, if I'm just starting mine this week, you got this made. You got this made. And we could go a whole lot wider up there too, couldn't we? Go all the way up to the corner. That's kind of what I wanted to see. I know, I'm out of... Just realized I was out of frame. I'm sorry. Realized I was out of the picture. Let's see. Where's this going to go? Yeah, we got room to go this way yet. And we can make one more pass here. And that will do us. And we'll be plenty good if I decide to come back over this with Mod Podge. Now, where's her? And there is our writing board for the writing board challenge. This is my front, my trash, and my back. And this is definitely going to need a ceiling on it as well. So I will do that off camera. You won't need to watch me spread Mod Podge on here. Got that figured out. And I may even take and find a way to make this narrower, or at least a lighter pen to hold that in there. That will work. Could even hold a pen and a pencil. So, thanks for joining me in the studio today. I will try to get a video up on Friday. This is Bob's last week home before he goes back out on the boat. So I am not working a ton. So if I don't have a video up on Friday, I will spend a little bit of time over the weekend getting one ready to go up on Monday. He leaves on Tuesday, and then I can get back to work full time. So in the meantime, find something you love to do. Spend time doing something you enjoy, and creative blessings.